So first, this question has always been coming up, and I think I've done a video on this. I can't remember. I don't know for sure, um, but whatever it is. So I said, let me just go ahead and do another video, so that people who are being considering or confused on what to do on these two choices can now make have some idea and finally decide. So this video is on Peugeot 46 Coupe and 47 Coupe. Of course, Coupe, some regard it as Coupè, so but I just call it Coupe. So I don't need to go into details of the production years and this and that, but I just want to point out the differences. But generally, before I go into the differences, both vehicles are good. They are very good cars, produced by the same brand, that is Peugeot. So one is a successor to the other. That is the 407 Coupe is successor to the 406 Coupe. So they all have their flaws and strengths, their weaknesses and strengths. So now it depends on you, the one you are willing to live with. Um, so let's move to hold on, something I need to point out. Okay, so let's start with the power. So for our focus will be on petrol engines. So the models 406 Coupe and 407 Coupe petrol engines, that's what we are focusing on, not the diesels. So both of them have 4-cylinder petrol engines and V6 petrol engines. For the 406, there are two V6 models there, ES9J4 and ES9J4S. Then we also have a 4-cylinder, two 4-cylinders. Was it? No, not even two. Three 4-cylinder engines. Three. That is SU10J4R and EW10J4 and EW12J4. That's two 2.0 liter engine and one 2.2 liter engine. So in other words, we have 5 petrol engines in a 406 Coupe. Now when you come to 407, you have only one V6 engine model, which is the ES9A. There and the one 4-cylinder engine, which is EW12J4. So for the 407, you have only two engines, one V6 and one 4-cylinder, 2.2 and 2.9. Even though we just make it approximately 3.0, but it's actually 2.9 liters. So we just let leave it at 3.0 liter engine. So it has only two, which are 2.0 and 3.0. While the 406, you now have up to 5 engines to choose from. So so in terms of power, for the 4 cylinders, there you have 134, then you have 136, and is it 136 or 138? These two are confusing me, but just leave it as 134 to 138. But I think it's 136 with H horsepower. So these are the HP for the 2.0 liter engine. Then for the 2.2 is about 150, 157, if I'm not mistaken, for the 2.2 406 Coupe. Then you move to the 407 Coupe. You have 2.2, 3.0. So the 3.0 engine in 407 coupe and the 3.0 liter engine in 406 coupe, the later 3.0 liter engine in 406 coupe are basically the same engine. The earlier V6 engine in 406 coupe are kind of different. Same engine series but different. That's the ES9J4. It's different. The engine block are basically the same, but the cylinder head are just completely different. They're not even the designs are just different. But the other two, the ES9J4S and ES9A are just, I always regard them, they are just same engine, except they are not identical in terms of some accessories on the cylinder head and the external attached accessories. So like the camshafts are not the same. The cylinder head is just also not the same anyway. Some tweak here and there, and few other accessories. But the design are just basically same. While ES9J4 is just a different engine. Just a different engine. But like I said, you could say similar design but different. Not they are not close, except the bottom part of it. So the V6 in 407 is 211 PS, which depending on how you want to do the figure, some will tell you, I think if you convert it to horsepower, you are looking about 208 horsepower or so. Now of course you have brake horsepower, then you have kilowatts. I think it's about 155 kilowatts. Then for the ES9J4 in 406, it's a 154 kilowatts, 210 PS, 207 horsepower. Then for the torque, engine torque, the ES9J4S is 285, while that of one in 407, which is ES9A, 290. So I regard them as basically same engine, because when you look at it, see the difference in horsepower and difference in the torque. I mean, one HP is like one horsepower difference. The torque is about 5 torque difference. So I mean, there's nothing to. It's basically same power. I regard, even if it's not, you can say they are not the same engine. They are just the same power to me. The one that is different is that of the ES9J4. That one is less than 200 horsepower. The torque, how many torque? I'm trying to remember. So so depending on, I don't want to go full into the okay, which year will you get which of these engines. So it depends on what you're after. But at least you know in terms of power, you can choose. You have more option on the 406 than the 407. The 407 only two option you have to choose from as far as petrol is concerned. 407 coupe doesn't have 2.0 liter, which you have in 406, like two different engines. Transmission, let's start with automatic. Transmission, the 407 has 6-speed automatic. For the V6, in fact, that's the only automatic gearbox you can get in coupe. Only one automatic gearbox you can get in coupe. 407, which is 6-speed automatic. The 2.2 in 407 comes only with manual transmission, which is 6-speed manual. Now, when you come to 406, the V6 406 has 4-speed automatic, which is ZF4HP20. They are not the best when it comes to automatic transmissions in Peugeot vehicles. Doesn't mean I have not come across ones that have actually lasted, but are not dependable. Then for the 4 cylinders, 2.2 are all manual, just like in 406. For the four that just like in 407. So all the 2.2, both in 407 and 406 coupe, they're all manual. um 2.0, I'm trying to remember if I've ever come across a first automatic one. I've not. I've driven and worked on quite a number of 406 coupe. All the ones with four cylinder, that's SU10, J4R, EW10, J4, they are all the ones I know I've come across were all manual. So possible there were automatic one produced. If they had, then it would be AL4 4-speed automatic. It's also not one of the best automatic transmission in Peugeot. So if I were to rate in terms of transmission, but because for the engine they are just the same, there's nothing much there to differentiate, except that you have more option for the 406. So for the transmission, I will rate the 406, the 407 much better. Now 407 V6 have option of manual, 6-speed manual or 6-speed automatic. So either of the two, they are especially the automatic is much better in terms of dependability than that of the automatic in 406 V6. So I will rate when it comes to transmission. In fact, 407 has it. 407 has it because even the manual is meant for more fun. You catch more fun with the manual. They're all 6-speed. If you want 6-speed manual transmission on any of these two, either the 406 or 407, the only option you have to get the 6-speed from factory is the 407. All the manual in 407 coupes were all 6-speed. It's not just necessarily because it's 6-speed. The way they were geared, the gear ratios were very close to each other. So it's actually very enticing and interesting to drive. That of the 406, the 5-speed manual, they're all 5-speed. They're also good. They are taller, especially that of the V6 is taller. It's also good, fun to drive as well, or to engage on while you're on speed. But I'm just pointing out that it's one that is also like more fun than the other. Yeah, so that's how I'll put it. So it's now up to you to choose which one to go for. But the for the automatic Infosys V6 coupe, I just advise, if you can, don't just bother. You could enjoy it if you're already willing to be spending much more in maintaining or servicing the gearbox than that of the 407. 407 V6, the ATF recommended ones are easily available, cheaper ones. Than you have more, the ones that are expensive are ones that are much cheaper, but the point is they are available. But that of the 407, 406 4-speed automatic, they are not easily available. Only few recommended ones are available and they are not cheap. So that is it for the power. Now I know the next thing that will come now is, since you mentioned power, which one is faster? Well, before I will tell you which one is faster, I want to give you what actually determine the power, the quicker one, considering that they have the same power. One is about the 406 is about 1,400 and something kg. 406, especially the manual one. I don't know about the automatic. 1,004. I think, I'm not sure it's up to 1,500 kg, but let's just leave it at 1,400 to 1,500 kg. The four cylinder is probably maybe 1,003, 1,000, maybe around that figure. I'm not so sure, but I do know the 406 coupe and the 406 saloon share almost similar weight. So I'm using the weight figure of the saloon 406 to determine the 406 coupe weight, so they are not far from each other. Even if there is just small figures of differences. Now, when you come to 407 coupe, the 407 coupe weigh more than that of the saloon. So 407 coupe, the V6 is about how many kg? Is it 1,700 kg or thereabout? I'm trying to remember. I used to know these things. So it's much higher. So if you are comparing the V6 406 with the V6 407 coupe, um, the two coupes, you see that they have more about 200 to 300 kg differences. So you can tell, same engine, similar transmissions. So you can tell, um, that is even the 406, 407 V6 manual. I can't even remember that of the automatic. Automatic, of course, have more weight. So, so in that case, of course, you should now know which should be faster. Same engine or same power, yet one has more weight. Of course, the one with less weight will be faster because same power pulling different weight. Because the one that is heavier will take a little bit more time to get up and go, like the one that is lighter that can be able to easily pull the weight, a lesser weight. So that's the thing. So 406 is much faster. It's very fast. Giving same engine, like like V6 to V6. The EW12 in 406 coupe and EW12 in 407 coupe. I know I've driven the EW12 407 a lot. Very fast. Not okay. Let's just say fast. I'm not. Let me not use the word very fast like the V6, but it's a fast car. But I still think, because the 407 EW12 has more power, even though it's the same engine, but it has more power than that of the same engine in 406. 406 to the one in 406 is about 157 horsepower, while the one in 407 is about 164 or thereabout. But you could look at it, you could say, well, it's just a 5 horsepower difference. So the torque, I think there's just small difference on the torque. So in other words, the 407, the EW12 407 or the 2.2 407 has more power than that of 406, but I still think the 406 will be quicker, even though the V6, the one in 407 has 6-speed manual, making the acceleration much sharper. But I still feel the 406 one. I can't remember. Have I ever driven the EW12 one in 406? I'm not so sure. I can't remember. I've seen but not driven. It's only 2.0 ones I know I've driven. So I can't really say. The reason why I'm saying all these things, what I'm telling you is what I've experienced, not what I read. So all this I'm telling you is not what is written online or somebody else I'm saying. I'm telling you what I know. So it's possible that the 407 EW12 will be faster than that of 406 EW12. It's possible, but I have not experienced it because I've not driven both vehicles. As in, both vehicles, I've only driven the 407 own, but I'm not doing the 406 on, so I can't compare in that case. Had it been 407 has a 2.0 engine and I've driven it, then I can tell you, because I've driven quite a number of the 2.0 in the 406 coupe. So, but generally, I would just say the 406 is faster. Okay, so if you are looking for one that is much, there was the difference in terms of the quickness. I will tell you from what I have tested myself, not what every other person. The 406 are 7-second 0 to 100 car acceleration. The 407, yeah, 406 is 406 coupe is 0 to is 7 seconds car. Of course, you could say it's like 7 point something. I'm trying to remember the exact figure. 7.2 or 7.5 or thereabout. Now for the 407, I'm using V6 now. The 407 V6 is 8.4 there, so it's an 8-second car. So the difference between the two is close to maybe 8 seconds. So the 406 is faster than 407 with about 8 second difference, or if not like close to 10 seconds, or maybe less. Maybe 10 might be too exaggerating, So looking at about, let's just say between that 7 to 10 seconds. So it's kind of much, you know. Um, as you're driving boat, you can tell, even without doing that calculation or timing yourself, you can actually tell the 406 is much faster. I mean, with ease, it's much faster. 472 is very fast, but it doesn't matter what you do or how it behaves. 406 stay fast. Okay, so that is it. Now in terms of fuel economy, I know, yeah, most people will be very interested in that. Okay, which one consume the least? Well, logic could tell you that the one that has less weight will consume less. So yes, 406 consume less than 407 V6. That's 406 V6 consume less. So I can't say much about the four cylinder, since the ones I've driven were the 2.0 in 406 and 2.2 in 407. So they are not the same engine, so I shouldn't compare both. I'm saying the V6 of the two. The 406 consume less. Doesn't mean the 407 consumption is extremely high, but yeah, 406 consume much less. So that's the advantage the 406 have over the 407 V6. The 406 Coupe. Now in terms of the look, well, which one looks newer or dated? Now, what I mean dated means it has started aging in the eyes. I would say, well, it's kind of subjective. Because you can see this is the rear view of both cars on the screen. So some might like that of the 406, which is on the left. Some will prefer that of the 407, which is on the right. Of course, 407 is newer, while 406 is older. Like I said, 407 succeeded or replaced 406. So let's look at the other, or the front view. So this is the front view of the 407 Coupe. So like I said, it all depends on you. This is the front and the side view of 407 Coupe. So of course it's newer, so when you look at both cars, can always tell that the 407 looks newer, as in it's newer. It all depends on, anyway. So this is the 406 Coupe. I think this is the later model, the facelifted model, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but from the bumper it appears so. Unless the bumper is not stock, but it looks much different than most of the ones I see, especially the earlier models. I'm going to show you guys that one. So this is the side view and the front view of the 406 Coupe. You can see this is another. When you look at both bumper, you can see the earlier one I showed. You can see the front grille. Then when you look at this other 406 Coupe, you can look at this. So I can't tell for sure whether both, if both are stock, or maybe one is newer than the other. So it's possible, I don't know. But the point is, this is the 406 Coupe as well. So in terms of the exterior look, so this is what you expect. I don't know, when you look at both cars, which one makes sense to pick. When you actually look at the two, the 407 appears more aggressive, especially the front end. Um, it's wider, it's bigger, um, it's longer. Um, I don't know. It all depends on you. I don't want to say, okay, which one do I prefer? I mean, it has to be your choice. But from the outside, I don't know. From my own view, even though it's subjective, the 406 looks dated. You know, it looks dated. That's all. That's the only way I can put it. It looks dated. Compare that of the 407. You know, I mean, unless what like I said, it's subjective, so it didn't matter what all I've said, that you say consider the 406 as something that looks more stylish to your eyes or something. I know some will say, oh, the 406 is spinning Farina design, which is good, but it doesn't mean that because it was designed by one Italian company that designs Ferrari cars, that no other cars can look better than that one. So that's not my point. My point is, it's now up to you when you look at a car, which one attracts you more, not what every other person is saying. Because you have to feel your car has to be attractive to you. You feel so proud of owning this, even when it looks ugly to other person, but when you look at it, you feel so satisfied in life that this is yours. So that's what I'm saying. So it's up to you to know what you find more attractive or feel proud of, in other words. So this is the exterior views. So let's look at the interior view. So this is the 406 interior. Um, Coupe, I mean. So it doesn't mean all these colors, reddish color will be on all of them. No, not all. Mostly the VC's own will have some of this customized seat color, the steering wheel, the door card. Yeah, you get it mostly the VC's own. There are some, I think the 2.0 own, not all, but some of them have come across. It's just the normal interior, you know, velour or cloth interior, because the seat and everything. So the dashboard basically look like every other 406, especially because we have D8 and D9. The only thing on the instrument panel, you now get the 406 Coupe instrument panel has some, especially on those gauges, you can tell that they are actually for coupe, not saloon. They have one's kind of design there. You can see that shiny this thing. Anyway, it might be difficult to explain here. So as for the entertainment, like the radio, some come with this particular one screen is cassette. Some come with CD player. This one has a GPS navigation, but it's not color screen, so it's a smaller screen. So this is the 407 coupe interior. Also customized. These ones are usually regarded as GT. Once you see the 407 coupe that have this kind of color interior, the dashboard will have this is it reddish or maroon? Can't remember. The door card too will have this type. They are usually the GT models. Like if you see this on saloons, could also be the executive model or badge. Let me use the word badge. So the 407 seat looks much better. I didn't screenshot that one. The 407 coupe seat, especially the front, in fact, front and rear seat looks they are much better, more or less relaxing than that of the 406. In fact, it's basically a bucket seat. Don't sit you, but it's not as hard as um, the hardcore bucket seat. So and the interior of 406 is much wider. The rear seat of 406, no, the interior of 407 coupe is much wider. Even the rear seat, you feel very comfortable as in the rear, no matter how tall you are. At least on average tall, compared to that of 406. So 407, in fact 407 coupe is as if it's a saloon car that they cut off the rear door. I'm telling you, is in 407 coupe is even longer than saloon. That's for you to understand what I mean. So the space, the interior space is even much bigger than that of saloon, both front and the rear. Okay, I won't say the rear, both the rear, but the rear seat, they factored in adults to sit there and feel comfortable. That's how good the 407 was. The 406, I know I've sat at behind, but how comfortable did I feel? I can't say for sure. So I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but 407, no, it's much. So 407 coupe is very practical. Let me put it that way. It's a car you could, if even if you're a family man, you feel very comfortable using. So only that of course the rear seat is designed for only two occupants, not more. Um, Now, in terms of other things, let's talk about gadgets, because since we're interior now, I know that's the next thing. Gadgets, which one interior is more entertaining to stay, sit in. Yeah, 407 has more gadgets. Um, um, the electronic folding mirrors. The 406 have those things as well. 406 scope, you can electronic for external folding mirrors. Except that for 407, if you press your remote, it will activate. If you lock your cars, automatically it will close. You unlock, it will open. But for 406, it will not operate until you manually turn the switch on the door card before the mirror will close or open. Talking about external mirror. So other gadgets like the front seats of the 406 coupe and the 407 coupe, most of them, especially the V6 ones, are electronically adjusted, adjustable seats. So, and if you want to enter the rear seat, once you touch the seat, it will move forward. That's once you press, you shift the seat. As the way you turn it, pull it, try to do this, and the seat will move forward for to allow someone to pass or to enter, to go out of the rear seat. So 406 does that too. 406 coupe. Um, I'm not sure. It's not. I'm not sure it's all of them. The Twitter the V6 one with the electronic seat front seat adjustment. Yeah, to do the same. But just that, trust me, I don't like that. Sometimes they just you might open, especially when the cars enter economy mode. You might open the front seat. You might push that front seat. It will move forward closer to steering wheel or dashboard. You enter, and then you try to return. You enter and try to, so that the seat will go back. It will not go back until probably you now start the car and use your mouth. Once you enter economy mode, most times it won't work. You know. So unlike the manual one that you can easily do it yourself and pull, I prefer it that way. Most people fancy the electronic one. Um, but the other things like 406, like Bluetooth function, so I can sync your phone to the vehicle, so that when the phone rings, you can talk to your radio and everything. 406 lacks that one. I feel that 407 is a much newer, so it has so many things. For example, the color screen and the other. But the only thing I would say when it comes to radio, entertainment, all those things, I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Because, yeah, 407 has color screen, this and that. Then the one that is not color screen, like, what's the name? This, like this one you're seeing on screen is RT3. And there's another model RD4, the one that is not color screen, the mono screen one. That one can give you access for Bluetooth to connect and all that to your phone. But the point is, you can easily buy all this Android display, radio, or head unit and swap in on your vehicle, whether it's 406 or 407, and you get basically even better. But even my 407, when I got the coupe, yeah, it has this basically same screen display, the radio with this one. But I didn't even use it for long. I mounted Android. That's the point, because some of the functions here I couldn't use them. The map, the RT3 map, or even RT4 map, it doesn't work in Nigeria. So you can't use the map. Unless probably those in Europe can be able to use it, or Asia. Um, yeah, this particular one, RT3, RT4, yeah, they have slot for GSM card. So you can put your SIM card there and be using it to make phone calls, receive messages. Yeah, same thing. Android units can do that too. So other than that, so it's not, it shouldn't be a factor. Don't use it to say, okay, I want to buy 47 because they have this color screen for navigation, GPS navigation. You buy it if you're in Nigeria, you won't use that navigation, it won't work. So you can as well, anybody that buys the Android in 406, is it this one is better than that, this your factory 407 own, because it's also data, it's an old system. So that's why I don't factor that one in. You can turn your car gadget into especially in entertainment like the radios, and you can turn them and make them modern. No matter how old your vehicle is, you can get an Android one. Even if it's not Android, you can get something, a modern radio or head unit that can turn it into something even better than that of 407 or the current one in your vehicle, you know. But there are other features, gadgets that 407 have that 406 lack, like the steering wheel. There are some 407 coupe that comes with electronic adjusted steering column. Most cars, 406, 407, your steering column, if you want to bring it forward, push it up, press it, bring it down, you use manual lock to unlock it for you to adjust and lock it after the adjustment. Some 407 coupe has that electronic one. You don't need to just press it. It will use your manual, your hand, control it with the switch. Then once you press and save it on your memory, the car has a memory where it will also save both your seat position, your rear view mirror, everything. So once you press that thing, it will bring up, if somebody come and readjust it, if you press that number one or number two saved memory, immediately it will bring back the rear view mirror, your front seat, your steering wheel. Electronically, they will come to the position that you set and saved. It's so good, and these are the gadgets I'm talking about. So you 407 will have more gadgets, so you enjoy it if that is your interest. So so it's now up to you to know which interior exterior attracts you the most. um you know so I know this video is taking long, but it's better I explain it well. um Now, for the exterior, one advantage 407 has over 406 is the bumpers, both the front and the rear. 406 is horrible when it comes. 406 coupes, their bumpers are horrible to maintain, very horrible. If you own a 406 coupe, you bet. I don't know if you are a religious person, you need to be adding it to your prayer point every time you are praying, that nothing will come and hit your bumper. Trust me, you will understand until or something happens to that bumper. Let's assume it's intact. Everything is no issue with the bumper. That should be your prayer point. That if you are driving and no madman will be in your front or be in your or behind you, or that you drive so carefully that you stay alert, you won't let anything you can. The worst thing you do is to be struggling the road, like, or doing bumper to bumper drive. If you have a 406 coupe and want the car to maintain the factory look. That's what you should do. The bumpers are, I don't know what they produce them with. It's as if they use glasses. Any small touch, don't even need to have an accident. Any small this thing, it will just tear into pieces. As in, that's how bad they can be. Yeah, I do. I'm not saying envy. I do admire and encourage when I see people that their own are still intact from new for years now. I was like, wow, this person must be a very, uh, uh, I would say gentle car user. I would say careful user. Someone who very, very carefully, as even when you get a car park, you have to go very far where people will not come and park near you. So I want stupid person who come and hit your car. Even if the person didn't run away, it's pointless. It's not even about the person can afford to replace it for you. Where will you even find it? It's not even available. And when you eventually end up finding one, what the price they will call for you. So that is one issue the 406 coupe have. I'll keep saying that. So for 407, that is not an issue. The bumper, the material, both the front and the rear is basically the same quality with every other Peugeot rubber bumpers. Or you could call them plastic bumpers, hard plastic bumpers. So they are hard. They don't tear out easily like that unless a big impact. I can easily fix them and without even replacement, depending on how bad the issue is. They have some issues or weaknesses, some spots that are weak, like on top, um, especially depending if you are pulling it out all the time. Just like every other 407 anyway, you could tear for a particular place on top. So, but is minor compared to that of forces that anything you will drop pieces. You're like, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but yeah, you so what people are doing now these days, they will go and get a different bumper from another forces like that of a D8 bumper, and then it's not plug and play, so they will have to modify it to fit in on the coupe. Immediately you see it, you know it's not factory because it will look a little bit odd, you know. But to me, it even make more sense than trying to fix the factory or the stock 406 coupe. Once it breaks, don't bother trying to fix it. Unless maybe you don't have money at that time to replace with the 406 saloon D8 bumpers. Because the way they did it, you can't get it right. So that's one big flaw or big weakness of 406 coupe, which 407 has over 406 coupe. So if you're buying one, you should be aware of that. AC, yeah, 407 AC is good, but only few can actually get to enjoy that. Most 407, both coupe, saloon, and ever that I've sat in or driven, only very few. In fact, I think it's like only I can count maybe five of all the 407 I've driven. I could tell you maybe only five of them that their AC chills close to that of 406. It didn't matter how good they were, how new they were, their AC still not as good as the 406 in terms of the effective chilling. Yeah, it's only one. In fact, actually, you can say it's only one 407 coupe that the AC chills very well. Even mine still doesn't chill uh, these ones I mentioned, these few ones. Mine chill, it's cool, chills like just the normal 407 coupe that sometimes you'll be wondering, is the AC even running? Sometimes chills well, it can be very annoying. It has a mind of its own. When it wants, it starts chilling. It's as if it's very cold, close to all of a sudden it will reduce. All of a sudden, it's an issue. You know. Could be compressor, it could be the. No, me, I'm suspecting that my compressor is has started even ever since I got the car, it's showing sign of weakness. But I didn't want to bother replacing it because the one is it not used one, the next one you're buying. Well, how are you even sure? So I would rather maybe you just keep using it until it eventually packs up. I can sense the compressor is showing some sign of weakness, but it's working anyway. Its small capacity that is still left in it. So, but the 406, no, their AC is just wonderful. Just wonderful. I don't need to see when it comes to 406, go and experience it. That's the best thing I'll tell you. It's one of the best when it comes to AC in Peugeot. Experience it and you understand. Suspension. Now, I'm going to talk about suspension in terms of, I'll break it into two. Now, in suspension, in terms of performance, 406, 407 is the best. 407 suspension, in terms of performance, is the best. 406, yeah, it has a good suspension in terms of performance, but it's not close to that of 407. The 407 suspension, especially the V6, 407 coupe, not even saloon, yes, but the coupe, man, as in, is just wonderful. I mean, the other day when mine was bad, if I ever I got the car, the suspension, the rear ones were bad, so I couldn't get a good one because new ones are not available. So I decided not to bother with used ones that probably might be bad. So I went and bought new ones, converted them to got four cylinder, converted them to the distance. So it doesn't have that V6 road handling. That's 100% V6 road handling anymore for the coupe. However, even at that, the way they designed every other part of this thing, yeah, is still that wonderful. Not to think of. The other day, I drove 147 coupe VC suspension that both the front and the rear are intact. Man, in fact, after then, I said, no, I think I'll start by next year or so. I'll look for, even if I had to buy and test until I get the four of them that is still working now, month. Honestly, now it's superb. The V647 suspensions are superb. So 406 is just there, good, but in terms of performance, not close to that of 407. You know. But then the other side of the suspension, in terms of which one is more rugged, which is one can handle rough road much better without failing or stressing out, 406. The 406 coupe suspension is rugged, as in 407, because of the complexity of it kind of fragile when it comes to bumpy road, rough road. So it's not a car you'll be using if your road condition is very bad. It's very rough, very bumpy, you have gullies. Don't bother with 407 coupe. V6 especially. Four cylinder, yeah, no problem. Like the EW12, just like normal 407 suspension. But V6 don't. I mean, 407 coupe suspension, shock absorbers, which are electronically controlled, is such that even when you get a good one and mount, you have to still electronically set the height of the car. I mean, see that the suspension is very complex. It's very complex. If you don't set it, your car will be out of shape. If one tire on the front may go up, the one tire at the back will go to that. You just look awkward. You have to electronically set it. Not from your switches on the car. No, you have to use your PP2000, go in and go into the settings and start to adjust, which can be very difficult. In fact, the easiest way to even do it to take it to dealers, as in, what's it called? Accredited dealers, approved Peugeot dealers. Most of these PP2000 won't even be able to achieve that. All these cloned ones. So I want you to understand what I'm saying when it comes to 407 coupe. Not saloon, no, tell you the coupe. Their own is different. The only press is only the front shock absorbers that are the same with the saloon, but the rear ones, wow. Shock absorber 407 V6 coupe rear shock absorbers if you see a new one, that if you are that lucky to see a new one, the price of buying it can buy you another 407 in good condition. I want you to understand what I mean. New one. Of course, you can't get them in Nigeria. So I'm just saying, if you see any part of the world and you see find a new one, the price of buying those two new will buy you a very sound 407 coupe V6 in good condition. I want you to understand. So that's why you have only mostly the option you have is used ones, which, like I say, physically you can't tell until you mount it because it has electronic control. So there are sensors in the suspension that works with the ECUs that control the height when it becomes strong, when it becomes softer, the rest. So if you mount an electronic part of it, in my case, the two at the rear that were bad, the mechanical parts were okay, but the electronics parts were bad. So because of that, the suspension refused to work because what was supposed to be electronically controlling there was not working. So there was no control anymore. So it's just bouncing up and down. So you have to understand the two differences in terms of performance. Wow! Just forget 406 first. As good as the suspension is on handling higher speed, it's not close to that of 407. If you drive that 407 V6 coupe, you can't help but be smiling on high speed. Can enter any corner with whatever speed. I'm not saying push it to 300 kilometers per hour on a very sharp bend or corner. No, that's not my advice. I'm telling you, the car gives you a confidence as you as the speedometer is climbing up. You feel it. You see, yeah. So, general maintenance cost. Yeah, 406 is cheaper to maintain. Period. It's cheaper. One of the reasons is because of the suspension, which I just talked about. The 407 coupe, whether it is V6 or four cylinder, it has kind of, because it's a performance suspension that they mounted on 407, so it made it kind of complex. Both the four cylinder one that is purely manual setup and the V6 one that is both manual and electronic setup, both are a little bit higher, the maintenance cost higher. So if you use it on a place where the road are not that bad, or at least you drive gently or carefully on those bad roads, so that it will take much longer for your suspensions to fail or one or two components to fail, then the maintenance cost will not be that much. So if you see a 406 scoop jumping all the potholes, it's not that it will not kill you, won't damage those suspension components or parts. But the person, when he now first compete, it will cost the person much less to replace or fix those suspension issues than you that drive 407 coupe, whether V6 or four cylinder. You will spend more if you both drive on the same road, on the same speed or same carless way. That's my point. So it will cost you more. Yeah, you can enjoy 407 for a long time before you talk about suspension distance. So in that case, you only fuse one or two things, one or two parts will fail, so you don't have to replace everything. But if you're a very rough person on bad roads or rough road, yeah, be ready to spend. So the maintenance cost is much higher. What else? Um, the electronic part or electrical part, yeah, 407 is more complex electrically. So it has more electrical components, ECUs, module, which kind of makes it a little bit, if you could say, fragile compared to the 406 with lesser modules. So what it now means is you have to be very, very careful with the 407 electrically. Mine hardly give me issues electrically. I can't even what. The only thing I could tell you that 407 does in terms of electrical, it doesn't matter how good you or how careful you are, is the ABS sensors. They fail at any time. Those sensors are just very annoying. ABS free sensor in 407, it's just a matter of if do something fail today, before you know it, the next one is failed. Before you know it, the next one. Unlike 406 that I can use for days, years, decades before probably might have one issue with one ABS with sensor. So that's but in terms of every other thing, you have to be careful. There are some modules like the BSM that they don't like mess. If you mess one electrical part, to go and damage something there, before you know it, to crash the entire fuse box. 406 has something similar, but it's not as complex like the Cambus 406 coupe. The ones produced in the late, sometime from 2002, 2004. Those ones have something similar, but the fuse box is not that complex compared to that of the 407. You know. So these are the things one has to be careful. So yeah, generally 407 coupe will cost you more. Will cost you more in maintenance, cost you more in fueling, cost you more if you want to, if you need to do suspension work. Other things, I don't think it should be a factor because basically same engine in 406 and fine in 407, especially for the V6 2.2, um so that's the thing. The only place the 406 will cost you more is if you buy the automatic V6 and 406 coupe, because of the high, for those of us here in Nigeria, the automatic transmission will cost you so much to maintain. Every 30,000 kilometers you have to change if you want the gearbox to last for you. While the 407, the recommended ones are there. Even some recommended one for the 406 V6 transmission are also recommended for the 407 V6, but there are also cheaper ones you can use. So that's the thing. And the 407 V6 transmission, automatic transmission, tends to they are more dependable. They do fail or give issues, but not at the rate of the 406, the ZF4 HP20 in 406 V6. So, but for the manual, if you the only time you enjoy 407 if you get the manual one. In terms of transmission, you just don't bother unless you are the type that don't know how to use clutches. You burn clutches every now and then. Yeah, it will in that case because maintenance cost will be higher for you in your 407, unlike the one that someone knows how to use the clutches. So I think closing, I would say, which one do you prefer of all that I mentioned? I try, because I know some people, most time they want me, no, just tell me 406 or 407. I don't do that. I want you to be man enough for yourself to make your own choice. My choice is different from yours. I'm not gonna say, oh, everything is green or roses for this model, while this other model, everything about the car is bad. Well, that's why I'm an expert on it, on this brand. So I can tell you both the good and the bad of both vehicles, or the strength and the weaknesses of both vehicles. There is nothing, no vehicle that does not have its own weakness. So hiding it from you is making me, I don't know. It means I'm not the expert, because an expert is supposed to be able to put everything on the table. So the person will know this. If you want to go into this business and you're seeking for an advice from an expert like me, or maybe as an expert on a particular type of business, I'll tell you, okay, this is the card. Look at everything. If you want to go in, there are some risks that might happen. Are you willing? This is where you can uh, maneuver, and the risk might not really affect you if it happens. One of the negatives that you need to risk if you jump in and decide to do the business, or this other positive that you gain from this business will overshadow the whatever negative that will come, that eventually you will experience. But because of whatever positive, this other positive that is there, So that's what I do basically. But most people they say, no, see, you're wasting my time. Just tell me, should I go for 406 or 407? Well, you can just go and ask one of the quacks, and just like when you go to mechanic, most local mechanics in Nigeria, if you mention 407, they'll tell you run for your dear life. You know, without telling you, in as much as it has some complex this thing, but there's a way you can actually use the car. You will experience most of these issues most users complain. I won't tell you the advantages 407 have over 406, as if 406 wins in everything over 407. No, it's not. Can't be. You know. So 407 has its own strength, 406 has. So it all depends on you. Which one? You can choose to have both. Maybe later you now say, okay, I think I'm okay with one. You discard the other. I don't know, So Um, you make your choice. One consumes more fuel, one consumes less. One is faster, one is not that it's not as fast as the other. One, I will use the word quick. One is quicker, one is not as quick as the other. One handles high speed much better and safer. Not just that, is 407 is much safer to speed with. Period. If you don't like, you don't need to like what I'm saying. It's a car that will protect you more on a higher speed than that of 406. It will protect you more. Even shit can happen. Something might happen, an accident will occur. But I'm saying probability of it happening is much lower because the car is from the front end to the rear is designed specifically for performance. Everything to handle you. 406 Coupe also has a good braking system. It has a what's it called, Brembo as well. 472 has something similar but not Brembo, which is also driving. You know that the brakes are good for the performance, or up to pair to what the engine can do on the vehicle. Car is very stable. So the moment then if you are looking about the looks or the gadgets or the realization you gain, I mean 407 you relax, it's very long, inside is very big and wide. The seats to me, there's so many things to enjoy in 406. However, in 407, 406 too, it has its own advantages, which so that's it. So you make your choice. I've made my own choice. Of course, everybody or most people watching the video already know my own choice out of these two. I made it few years ago. So it's not up to you. You choose yours. Better still, drive, find any of these two and drive. I'm not going to give you mine to drive, so don't even bother. Find one, go and test drive any, and then make your choice. But there are some things you won't actually hear from the dealers or from some users because they only work with the basic knowledge. They can tell you, oh, this guy is killing me, doing so many things, he's giving me headache, he wants to kill me. 407 is too bad. Every now, one electrical issue to the other. This one, my gearbox is always failing. My automatic gearbox, one day or the other. Or my manual car, every now and then, the clutch is burning. Every now, my clutch is burning, this and that. You immediately assume that, yes, no, this car must be very bad. Because he's using that limited knowledge to scare you from the vehicles. But when someone like me is telling you, I'm giving you instances, we have users don't even experience this. Most people that drive 407 probably have never experienced clutch failure because they know how to engage and disengage clutches, not people that ride their clutch and burn and complain. Some people that use 407 Coupe don't have electrical issues apart from the ABS I talked about, which is not even expensive. How much? Less than 10,000. New one, not even used, that works. Yeah, may not be OEM, but they work. More than 1 year. I'm not even saying like a few months. No, it must more than a year, if not more, or more than two, if not. So Other electrical things, see some people, they will have issue with their car. Instead of them to properly diagnose, they will take it to one quack. The person will be cutting and joining wire here and there. Tomorrow they start complaining, oh, this car is too much electrical issue, blah, blah, blah. Or Peugeot will say, oh, I use this recommended engine oil. Oh, no, why would I spend this kind of money on a Peugeot car? Which most people, users, I'm not saying non-user, users, I'm saying people that actually own this vehicle full 7, drivers themselves, not their mechanics, say to me specifically, why should I spend this kind of amount to buy engine oil for 407? This is your vehicle. This is what you are telling somebody. Why should you spend this kind of amount on a 407 for engine oil? I mean, you can tell from that person, he, but you see compared to tomorrow, my engine has failed. Why? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Yeah, engine. It means the 407 engine don't last. Change your timing belt today so that after 4 years, oh no, why should I change timing belt? I should leave it until it cut. Then it cuts on you. This thing has damaged my engine. Why should cut fan belt or timing belt cutting damage engine? It's bad. But there are people who have never experienced their own 20 years or more, 10 years of ownership of that vehicle. They've never had that timing belt issue, failure. They've never changed their engine. They've never had any big issue. Yeah, shit can happen. Something might happen and your engine will fail, even though you've done everything in your power. But I'm saying, I'm giving you an example to understand that some of these issues I mentioned, there's a way you can own that vehicle, and if not, at least you experience less of some of those peculiar issues the cars are known for. So that's what this video is all about. I don't know how long now, maybe probably over an hour now. But out of 50 people, 100, 200 people that watch this video, even today, tomorrow, or next 5 years or whatever, maybe out of the 500 or 1,000 people that watch it, only 2 will benefit from this. The rest might watch the first 10 minutes, they will cut it off, say, oh, who have time to watch this nonsense? It's how you to summarize everything for me in 2 seconds. You are wasting my time. The same people will still complain tomorrow. Once they buy that same car, I will start complaining. Or I wasn't, nobody taught me this thing, or explained this thing well to me. Or you shouldn't have, you should have picked my calls privately to explain all these things to me rather than coming here to watch the video. Well, must I pay for him to give me his private time to educate me on which car to buy? Okay, so that will be so. Until next time.